let's go with it. So I need the bullet point of my contrast. Love this stuff. If it's not straight, now's the time to straighten it. Oftentimes when you pull, one will be a little straighter than the other. I'm just going to go with the straighter one. It's not cheating. And I'm going to pull a point. Pulling points in itself takes practice. If you guys have any questions as to like what sizes or this or that, I recommend. Oh, one other thing. So Mountain Art Glass will give any of my students 10% off. Just mention it, like either in the comments when you place your order, or if you're going to use on the phone, and they'll give you 10% off. Not everything, but most things. So I use Mountain Art Glass a lot. And it depends on where you are. I try not to be partial, but I do love Mountain Art Glass, and that was really nice of them to like extend that to the students. I know it's not much, but it's every little bit helps. Okay, so I have a bubble. And this is really interesting. So I'm going to open the bubble up, and I'm going to fume on the inside. So in order to do that, I need to pick away some glass here. So I can either remove some glass and make it real thin, and it'll open. Or you can just blow it open. I do that in the flame so that I don't get a bunch of bubble trap. And I take my reamer and I actually open it up. Flare the tube open. Because I'm going to put the fuming on the inside of the glass. That's my trick. Most people fume on the outside and cover that fuming with dots or lines or clear or color or whatever. I put my fuming on the inside and then I seal up this tube. The fuming goes down the lines and it leaves a line pattern. So we can fume with silver, we can fume with gold. I'm going to fume with both just so I can show you both. I have it over here. So here's a little piece of gold on the end of a rod. I'm going to fume with the gold first. I don't want to heat it up too quickly or my gold will go flying across the table and I'll never find it again. So I'm very slow. I'm just like right on the edge of the flame. It's not even in the flame. Just hanging out. No hurry. Could be even turning it. I want to get this hot nice and slowly using the edge of the flame. I also want to preheat my tube. So maybe I'll hang out while I'm preheating my tube. Because the metal won't stick to cold glass. What happens is we heat the gold and it vaporizes. It turns into a gas. And if I have warm glass behind it, not as hot as the vapor, it will cool the vapor and it will collect onto the surface of the glass.
Is the mouthpiece open?
The mouthpiece is open, so that's a good point too. You want to work quickly or you want to seal this off. If you have flame go down in the tube, the handle's gonna get really hot. I just work quickly. And if it gets hot on you, drop it or blow through it. It will very quickly cool down. So you can see I have a light collecting of gold on there now. It's a little heavier up here and a little less heavy down there. Heavier up here. It's hard to get it all the way down here. So for the gold, you want a sharp oxidizing flame. And the atmosphere of the flame doesn't matter as much as the temperature. So you want a hot flame, basically. For the silver, it helps a little bit lower, so you want a softer, still a small flame, but a softer flame. So gold looks kind of like this, kind of like gold, pink, a little bronze. Kind of looks like rose gold almost because of the pink gold. I'm just going to add a little bit of silver behind it. Very soft flame, more of a reducing flame, but again, the atmosphere does not matter as much as the temperature. And you can can see this gave a little bit of a yellowish. It's going to change too once I melt it in. And if you want, you can do gold, silver, gold, silver. You can do layers of this, and you can really do a lot of layers. This became popular, or is popular among a lot of the pipe makers, because it creates color-changing glass. Because as they smoke out of the pipes, the resin forms a black background and makes the fuming appear a different color, and it appears to change colors. And to your eye, it actually does, the way you perceive the color. Generally, they put it on very lightly, though. I'm actually laying it on fairly heavy. So you either want to seal the end, either with a cork or by melting it closed and then opening it back up. I have a little cork here. It wasn't quite small enough for this hole. Or you just work quickly, and my hands are like asbestos, and so it's pretty hot, but I survived. So now I'm sealing this up. The plug may have a little bit of a difference, make a little bit of a difference. So you can marver it till it's closed. You can pinch and pull, like I like to do. Or you can, that stitching move. You can do that stitching move, which is just get it hot, and then, or knitting, I think they call it. Knitting closed, or stitching closed. One of those. It's got a name. Stitching, I think is right. And then my test tube as before. And I'll stop and show you what we got. Cool? Okay, so let's attach our handle to the end. So these look great without being twisted or being twisted. Either way. You don't have to twist these lines. I'm going to twist them because might as well. But even these with straight lines look nice. So you can twist it now, or you can divide your bubble like I did now. Either way. Go ahead and start my twist. Not forcing it. If it starts to kind of go flat and weird like that, give a little puff. It'll round it back out, puff it back out even. And if you want a nice tight twist, you need to do that a couple times. And just rolling it, marvering it to kind of keep it straight. Okay, so I have a little twist in there now. Now I'm going to divide my bubble. I'm just going to do this one into two. Gently at first, and then a little bit harder as gently at first to define that line. You don't want to define it harder until you have it defined gently. Graphite's nice, it doesn't leave residue behind on the glass. If you push too hard on the brass, or if it's rusty, it can leave, it can scratch the glass. So then you can work this in two bubbles. Take your pick which one you work first. Well, I really hope you guys enjoyed this tonight. I think I got a lot fit in 3 hours, and that was my goal. Can't wait to see what you guys do. Your ornament designs. Make these, make whatever you want. Make them your own. Share, show me. Can't wait to see. It's very important to have hanging things in your booths around the holidays. You may have a full booth. Hanging stuff creates interest. It takes up no table space. So it kind of, you get more work in your booth if you don't already have hanging stuff. All right, just trying to blow this part round. And I'll flatten the top. Get too greedy. Don't try to blow it out any bigger than you can. It'll just start to get too thin. And if it's not twisted, you can twist it up a little bit more now. But don't try to do too much. You can even push against your tool. Okay, so that's the shape we're working with. So one thing I wanted to throw in tonight that I haven't talked about yet is tungsten and trapping air. So I'm going to make my hook out of this length of tubing here. And in that, it'll trap air inside the bubble. So to not trap air, and actually, I have another demo posting in the group. I did it this morning. I scheduled it to post in 20 minutes. It's going to show this again. But you want to preheat your tungsten. Get it to where it's glowing. See, it stays glowing for a few seconds when I come out of the flame. So you're almost doing this out of the flame, because if you do it in the flame, when you heat it, it vaporizes. It will fume on the outside of your piece, leaving kind of a yucky yellowish color. So flash where you want your hole to go, flash your tungsten, and then touch down out of the flame where you want your hole to go, and then bobbing in and out of the flame, just heating the tungsten, twisting back and forth till it goes through and then come out. You can blow through it and you'll hear if there's a hole. And the trick is hiding that hole. That hole's so tiny and it's going to be right near the hook. And that's the trick. We are already planning a part 2 of this class. And so some of the things we're going to do are like the things in the next demo. We're going to probably do like a holy ornament and in Como, and a feathered ornament, globes and things like that. So if there's anything in particular you want to see, now's the time to let us know, because we're planning the next one. And it'll be a part 2 to this class that we do in the fall. So melt in your tubing, gather up a little bit of glass, and then very slowly pull it out to the length and thickness you want. And I like this because I waste very little of this tube. You can also do a combination of the two, where you manually loop it over. You get it about halfway around, and then you melt it off to the length and the thickness you want, and then you loop it the rest of the way over. So there are variations on all these techniques. I don't claim to know everything or know all the techniques, but I figured out some good ways that work well for me. So I think they would work well for you too. But please, challenge me. I'm open to it. I love it. Ask me the hard questions. I'll attempt an answer.
Make a goblin ornament. Jeff's
Not today. Oh, that was Jeff?
Yeah.
Of anything, Jeff. Not a problem. So, you know, this is a fun shape. These were my ornaments a couple years ago. What did I have when I pulled them out? Anyways, there's some in the gallery. We can take pictures. They're on the website. So, all these guys are for sale. Actually, most of the demos, I'm going to pick a bunch of the demos from all the classes I've done, and we're going to do a raffle. And like anybody that's taken a class, all you guys are already entered Maybe we'll come up with another way to enter. Take more classes. No, we'll come up with another way. But anybody that's taken a class has entered. Every seat in your class will have been a entry. I'm gonna leave a little extra clear. All right. And then I like to walk over to the kiln with a rod of glass so that I can push it out. So I'll walk over to the kiln, rod of glass in one hand, so that I can push it out of my shoes.